Hey guys, it's Monday. It's the start of a new week. When my alarm went off this morning, I did not want to get up. I thought I was dreaming. I really did. I thought I was dreaming, and I realized my alarm's going off. So I had to get up and do this. I do have a editorial for you this morning. I do have a story to bring to you. Someone had wanted me to talk about the quad amputee that was held down by the officer, and I didn't do. Everybody's posted videos on that one. So go to YouTube and search quad amputee police officer or police quad amputee, and you'll get this story. It is the silliest thing. This cop needs to be fired. It's just ridiculous. But I didn't do a story on that one. But he jumps on the back of this guy with no arms and no legs, trying to subdue him. It's just, I don't get it. But anyway, some things that go through cops' minds. And you know what? That's really kind of a good segue to this editorial this morning. We're going to Louisville, Kentucky. We're going to talk about a cop. We're going to talk about a cop who assaults a woman in 2017 and is not fired until 2019. And something happens in between that time period, as you're going to see. It's a very long story. I'm going to put a link to the whole story in the description box below, as well as a link to the video that the Battousai shared. I watched the Battousai's video. He's the one actually that brought it to my attention through video. I looked it up and I found it this morning on here. In fact, it was probably the worst of the worst as far as police stories go for me to bring you as an editorial. So I just went ahead and used it. But it's really long. But you can read it in the description box below, as well as watch the Battousai's video. And I'm going to give you a portion of it. Can't give you all of it because it is really lengthy. But we're going to talk about it. It comes from WDRB.com. WDRB. Thank you for this story, which we're giving as an editorial. Going to Louisville, Kentucky, when Stephen Beckham found out his wife was going to the hospital for an irregular heartbeat after being tased by Louisville Metro Police Officer Gregory Satterley. He asked the officer a question followed by a threat. Beckham says, quote, "You think you're going to get away with that, don't you?" He asked from the back of the police cruiser as he was being taken to jail on a charge of trespassing October 23rd, 2016. "I'm going to get you for assaulting me and my wife." Well, you know what the officer says, right? Okay. Satterley responded, telling Beckham he could argue his case in court. They always say that. Well, you can argue it in court. According to body camera footage obtained by WDRB News, when I legally crossed the street, I was trying to tell the officer, it's not jaywalking. California Vehicle Code 21995 doesn't apply to this section of the roadway. And I told him exactly why, verbatim of the penal code. And he said, well, you can argue that in court. Because I don't know. I can't remember every penal code. Then why are you a fucking cop? Go do something else. You know, in my job, if I say, well, I can't remember the whole policy handbook, so if I get it wrong, you know what they do? They tell me I got it wrong, and we have to correct what we call our corrective errors. Cops, they just, hey, you got it wrong. Oh, well, that's what the judge is for. So in other words, you don't have to be competent to be a police officer. You just have to be able to pass their tests in the training course, get a badge, and then go out in the street and start assaulting people and violating their civil rights. That's all you have to do. Be smart enough to pass the test. You don't have to be competent. That's really what they're saying when they say shit like that. Well, just that's what the courts are for. Go before a judge. What they're really saying is, look, I don't have to be competent. I just have to wear my badge and arrest people. That's what this cop thought when he told him, okay, argue it in court. The footage reveals for the first time the incident that resulted in Metro government paying the Beckhams $50,000 to avoid a lawsuit, alleging they were assaulted and wrongfully arrested, and that the police tried to cover up Satterley's actions. Now the Beckhams and their attorney want to know why an internal investigation of the incident took more than 2 years to complete and Satterley stayed on the street where he used excessive force against 2 more citizens before he was fired in April of 2019. 2 more people got assaulted while this asshole stayed on the street after tasing a woman sitting on her hands. What do you say? Attorney David Johnson, I couldn't find a picture of this guy, but Attorney David Johnson, who represents the Beckhams, was quoted as saying, quote, "He continued to have a job and carry out 2 more incidents that we are aware of. It's not clear how an officer could have a job after what happened in this body camera footage alone." That's because they don't care. Louisville Metro Police Department hasn't responded to questions asking why Satterley remained on active duty during the excessive use of force investigation and why the investigation took so long. Nor has the department provided body camera footage of Satterley's excessive force incidents, which WDRB requested in September. A spokesman said at the time those recordings could take months to produce, if you get them at all. Charges against Beckham and his wife, Nisham Beckham, included trespassing and resisting arrest, were dismissed in September 2017. Of course, they were dismissed. By that time, Louisville Metro Police Chief Steve Conrad had begun an internal investigation into Satterley. It remained open from January 2017 until April of this year. On April 23rd, Satterley was fired in part for tasing Nisham Beckham, while, according to Conrad, she was complying with the officer's commands. Body camera video obtained by WDRB shows Nisham Beckham on the ground several feet away from Satterley, sitting on her hands when she was tased. Chief Conrad wrote in Satterley's termination letter in April 2019, "I believe you acted out of anger rather than out of perceived threat of immediate danger to an officer or another person." But while the investigation was pending, Satterley apparently remained on active duty and was found by police to have used excessive force on 2 more occasions. Now, the same month, Conrad opened an investigation into the arrest of the Beckhams. Satterley threw a handcuffed man to the ground, where he was berated, cursed, and told him to "listen to me, boy," according to the officer's April termination letter. An investigation into that incident began on June 28, 2017, according to police records. So they started an investigation of that assault on June of 2017 after the woman had been tased, and it still took almost 2 years to fire this guy. Hold on, there's one more coming. Even as 2 excessive force investigations were ongoing, Satterley apparently remained on active duty. Now, he wasn't put on administrative reassignment or desk duty, or he remained out there assaulting people. Again, November 22nd, before Thanksgiving 2017, Satterley used unreasonable force on another handcuffed suspect, taking him to the ground and injuring the man. Conrad wrote in the April termination letter, "The internal investigation began on November 28, 2017. Now, it would still take another 1.5 years before this clown was fired." Conrad concluded in April that Satterley had a pattern of aggressive and angry behavior, according to his termination letter. Conrad wrote, "Unfortunately, after reviewing these cases, I believe our community needs to be protected from you." One way to truly protect the public, as Conrad stated in Satterley's termination letter, would be going after his Peace Officer Professional Standards certification, known as POPS. This certification, issued by the Kentucky Law Enforcement Council, is required for an officer to work in the Commonwealth. The council can revoke that certification, thus preventing employment when an officer has egregiously abused their power or broken the law. Louisville Metro PD never reported Satterley's actions to the council. And there's a whole bunch more. Oh, let me get to this one too, but we're going to get to something else really quick before I close here. And I'm trying to not make this boring and just me talking, but I'm getting lost in this story. I think I'm just reading it. I hope that's not boring to you guys, but I just realized that. But I don't have time to go back and do it again and make it entertaining. But the thing I do want to point out here is they never reported his actions to the Council for Peace Officer Professional Standards so that his certification could be revoked. They never did that. Then this new law came in, which you'll read in the story, where they have to start doing that now. The law came in June, enacted June of 2019. This guy was fired in April of 2019. So before June of 2019, they didn't have to tell the state police officers council about bad cops. They just fire them or let them resign. And then they go be a cop somewhere else. But in June of 2019, they finally passed this. Or they have to now tell them, this guy resigned because of, this behavior. Or this guy was terminated because of this behavior. I don't know if it's going to help. You guys let me know in the description box below if you think that's going to help. But the last thing I want to get to is from their police spokesman. Louisville Metro PD spokesman Dwight Mitchell said in an emailed response to WDRB, quote, "At the time of former officer Gregory Satterley's termination, there was no statutory regulation to take any action regarding his POPS certification," that's state police certification. And then there's a whole bunch more. I could just go on and on with this story, but I don't want to bore you guys right out of the video. The moral of the story, as it were, or the end of this editorial here, is that here you have a police officer that literally on body camera tased a woman sitting on her hands. She had to go to the hospital. When her husband brought up a concern, he said, well, okay, argue it in court. And then goes out and assaults two other people, throwing one to the ground who's handcuffed and telling another one, "You listen to me, boy." And I wonder what the ethnicity is of that guy that he was handcuffing. There, that guy where he said, "Listen to me, boy." I wonder what the ethnicity of that guy was. Because we're talking about a Kentucky cop here. And, I'm probably being judgmental there. I'm probably judging this guy as some hick, some hillbilly cop. "Hey, boy, you better get over here or I'm going to put you down on the ground." Ding, ding, I don't know. But you guys let me know in the comment section below how you feel about this story. This happens all the time, though. This is Louisville Metro Police Department in Louisville, Kentucky. But think about it. There's Chicago. There's NYPD. There's LAPD. There's the LA Sheriff's Department. There's the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. Remember they beat the shit out of that guy on a horse a couple years ago. The two San Bernardino sheriffs that kicked and beat the Mexican guy because he wouldn't listen to them. The guy spoke Spanish only over there on Paris Hill Park. So this stuff happens all the time. I still can't find out what the dispo of that one is, the Paris Hill Park in San Bernardino. I've been searching and searching and searching. I don't know what happened to those two cops. As far as I know, they were put back on duty. As far as I know, I can't find it. If anybody can find that, let me know, and I'll talk about it. But, the Chino cop that he was a sheriff too, right? Or he was a cop. I don't remember. But he shot the airman who was laying on the ground with his hands out, and he shot him, saying, well, he was reaching or something to that effect. Remember that one? That was some years back, too. This happens all the time. Texas. How many cities in Texas should I name? San Antonio, Fort Worth, Dallas, Houston. What other cities do we have that, So DeKalb County, Georgia. Should I keep going, guys, on these... Boston, or maybe not Boston as a city, but Massachusetts. There's cities there where we've talked about cops violating people's rights, and they stay on the street. They stay on the street. I don't get it. We investigated ourselves and found no wrongdoing. But here, this guy was finally fired 2 years after assaulting 3 people. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm sorry I belabored it, but, I'm trying to bring this to your attention. The last thing I want to leave you with is this. When you are stopped by a police officer, will you start recording it, people? Stop letting them violate your rights and assault you and then lie about it. Start recording them. Turn on your video cameras. Turn on your iPhone cameras, smartphone cameras, Samsung, whatever. Turn them on. Tell them I have video and audio recording going for my documentation. Tell them that. People say you don't have to tell them that. Tell them anyway. Just put it in their face. Yeah, I'm recording audio and video for my documentation. Let them know you're recording them. Because then, if they fuck up, at least you can say in court, I told him I was recording. It's not like he didn't know. Not because they can bring it against you or anything, but so they can't say, I didn't know I was being recorded. Yeah, you knew you were being recorded. I told you you were being recorded, and you still acted like an ass on camera and audio. That's why you tell them that, to put it in their face. Community Leo Watch. That's Leo's, law enforcement officers. I'm watching you in every community. So you better act right, or you'll end up in one of my editorials or one of my videos. Happy Monday, guys. Thank you for watching.